Shalom, 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 Israel. It's your brother Hezekiah back at it with another quick lesson. God will judge the nations. Yes, the Most High God will judge the nations. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh. Hashem Yahweh Shah, that's the Most High God of Israel and nothing else. And it's one begotten Son who the world calls Jesus Christ. I'm going to give another mighty shalom and shout out and double honors to all the elders from the house of David and all the elders worldwide. I'm going to give a mighty shalom and shout out to all the men that's preaching this gospel, spreading this truth to all the four corners of the earth. And I'm going to give a mighty shalom and shout out to the women and children that's praying, fasting, giving alms, doing the works, keeping the commandments and the faith of the black Messiah, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. All right, so God will judge the nations. God will judge the heathens. God will judge the Gentiles according to their deeds. And he will save the children of Israel. He will save the people of Israel. He will save the nation of the Israelites. All right, let's get into it. In the Bible, nations are treated like one big team with shared responsibilities for doing good or evil things. The leaders, traditions, and everyday people all play a part in the nation's choices, like worshiping false gods, treating people unfairly, or being malicious to others. If the whole nation gets into serious evil actions, like most people follow idols or having unfair laws, God may punish the entire nation together. Okay? When God judges a whole nation, it's to fix or punish the huge ongoing problems that spread everywhere. Kings or rulers who led people into sin could bring judgment on the entire nation because their decisions shape national behavior and culture. God rules over nations, using them to accomplish his purposes. Judging nations serves to demonstrate his justice, mercy, and authority on a grand scale. While God judges nations, individuals are accountable for their own deeds. However, individuals are often affected by their nation's judgment due to their participation in or failure to oppose collective sin. So, just like how Israel was judged as a whole nation because of the individuals disobeying God's commandments, God's instructions, the same way these nations is going to be judged as a whole because of the evil they have done to God's apple of his eye, which is the Israelites. They will be judged for the evil deeds or the wickedness or the violence or the unfair, unrighteous decrees or the hatred they spread over the idolatry, over the uncleanness, over the lasciviousness, or the fornication, over they would be judged for all the things they have done, just like we did. This the book of Jeremiah, chapter 18, 7 to 8. And at what instant I shall speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom, to pluck up and to pull down and to destroy it. If that nation against whom I pronounce turn from their evil, I will repent of the evil that I thought to do unto them. So think about it. Has any nation repented, has repaid, has given reparations, has bind us up, has healed us from the trauma, for the troubles, the afflictions, the oppression we went through. Think about it. The Chinese, the Tang, and the Ming dynasty had us as slaves. During 1980 and 89, the Chinese attacked black students for rumors of interracial relations. And they also got racism in their media. The Arabs, you ever heard of the trans-Saharan slave trade or the Indian Ocean slave trade? Matter of fact, they still have our people in slavery to this day in Libya, Mauritania, Mali, Chad, and Sudan. The Japanese people, they adopt some races and stereotypes just like the West do. And you know, the East Indians and the Africans also had a part in our enslavement, our oppression, our downfall. And you can't forget about the good old white man, woman, and child, the genocide, the destruction of the natives, the black codes, the Jim Crow law, the 13th Amendment, the crack epidemic, the men in the house rule, the music industry, the highly systematic oppression and unfairness in education, employment, and consumerism. Okay? This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 7. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. You see that? The children did nothing wrong. But guess what? There were still babies in slavery. There were still young girls getting raped. You understand? We still was getting separated from our parents. We still had our hands and our feet cut off. If we didn't meet the quota, we bore those iniquities. We bore that judgment. And you don't think these nations are going to get the same thing? And they can't repent. This is the reason why. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 3, verse 36. Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept your precepts, but not the heathen. So the other nations, the heathens, the Gentiles, they would not repent. They can't repent. They won't ever be in God's good gracious because they will not keep the precepts. It's not intended for them. The Lord made them to be how they are, to be the sword, to be our belt, to be that belt that punished us. The Lord made these nations to destroy them. The Lord made these nations to be our servants. The Lord made these nations to be at the bottom, to be as spittle, to be as nothing. But guess what? We disobeyed our God. He punished us. And he put these nations above us. But guess what? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. So you see that? The Lord has an indignation, a strong righteous hatred against all the other nations because of the evil they did towards us, or the systematic crafty counsel they did against us, to not loving us, to not caring for us as they should, or as they would, or as they could. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 1, verse 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped for the affliction. They held for the affliction. They continue to put their foot on our necks. They keep on continuing to treat us unjustly, to look at us wrong, to treat us different. They held for the affliction. They not giving us the helping hand we need, even though we not asking for it or we deserve it, but still. This the book of Psalms 92, verse 9. For lo, thy enemies, O Lord. So the Lord has enemies. Reading on. For lo, thy enemies shall perish. So the Lord's enemies shall perish, shall be put to death. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. So the Lord's enemies will be destroyed, will perish, will be unalive. Right? And these enemies are workers of iniquity. Who are the Lord's enemies? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 83, 2-8. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted against thy hidden ones. So the Lord's enemies take crafty counsel. You know what crafty counsel is? It's schemes, think tanks, plans to destroy people. Crafty counsel, right, began with slavery, the Spanish Inquisition, the churches, right, Jesus, political groups, right, their version of history, the lies, the deception, right? You got psychology, you got feminism, you got unjust business deals, you got the drugs, you got the guns, you got redlining, GMO foods, RNA interference, right? And these are all done by crafty counsel by these damn witches, sorcerers, preachers, and the experts in satanism, the damn Masons. You understand? And guess what? The other nations, all the nations, is together in this, led by this one nation, which is the Edomites, which is the so-called white man. Read it on. They have said, come, let us cut them off for being a nation, that the name of Israel would be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And here are the list, the names of God's enemies. The tabernacles of Edom, that's the so-called white man. And the Ishmaelites, that's the Arabs. Of Moab, that's the Chinese. And the Hagarenes, that's the African nation. Gabal and Ammon. Ammon is the so-called Japanese. And Amalek, that's the 1948ers, the small hats, right? The Jewish people. The Philistines, right? With the inhabitants of Tyre, more real African nations, Hamite nations. Ashur, that's the Assyrians, right? East Indians also is joined with them that have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. So these are the nations that are enemies to the Most High God. And you don't think that the Most High God is going to judge his enemies? You don't think that the Most High God is going to eradicate, pay back, fight back, attack his enemies? It's the book of Psalms 79, 6-7. pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee. See, these nations don't know the Most High. They don't keep the commandments of the Most High. They don't keep the high holy days. They keep these wicked pagan satanic holidays. Christmas, New Year's. They even celebrate Thanksgiving. They celebrate the destruction of our people. They celebrate Mother's Day. They celebrate their birthdays, Halloween, Easter. They don't know the Most High God. They eat unclean foods. These Chinese people eat damn cats and bats and eel, spiders. You understand? The East Indians, these Arabs, they got their false gods. They got their false religions. Okay? The Africans, they just do all types of mysticism and unclean things with animals that I don't even want to say. Read it on. And upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name, for they have devoured Jacob and laid waste his dwelling place. So these heathens will be judged. The wrath of the Most High will be placed on these heathens because they what? Devoured Jacob, the Israelites, and laid waste his dwelling place. You see what they doing right now in the country, the land of Israel, quote unquote Palestine. It's a war over there. It's unaliving over there. It's kidnapping over there. It's bomb dropping over there. You got kosher pig over there. You got kosher cigarettes. You got a whole damn LGBTQ parade day over there, man. It's crazy. Let me get the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? What nation has not been a part of our destruction? What nation has not had us in slavery? What nation did not have Israelite slaves? What nation is not benefiting of the oppression, of the suppression, of the exploitment of our people, the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man? This is the Bible, man. It's the book of Psalms 118, verse 10. All nations could pass me about. And then they just say some or a couple. All nations could pass me about. But in the name of Yahweh, will I destroy them. You seen what King David said? You seen what the king of Israel said? The king that his heart was perfect with the Most High God. He said, all these nations, I will destroy them for what they did to us, man. And guess what? This is what the Most High gonna do. This is the book of Judith, chapter 16, verse 17. Woe. Woe means the destruction. Woe to the nations that rise up against my kindred. Judah was an Israelite from the tribe of Simeon. The Lord Almighty will take vengeance on them in the day of judgment and put fire and worms in their flesh, and they shall feel them and weep forever. See that? All praises to the Most High God, man. It's the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, unto the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. This is the Bible. This is the Most High God speaking. He said he's going to gather the nations of World War III, the battle of Jehoshaphat, the battle of Armageddon. Right? He's going to pour out his indignation, his fierce anger, and devour these nations' armies, devour these people, then take the remnant of them and pit them in servitude. When you read Isaiah 60, Isaiah 14, Isaiah 49, Revelations 2, Revelations 13, Zechariah 14, Isaiah, Jeremiah chapter 30, right? That I'm about to read right now. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 10 and 11. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee. You see, the Most High God said he's going to save the children of Jacob, the Israelites, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be at rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. You see that? The Most High God said he's going to return us to our homeland. We're going to be at rest. We're going to be quiet from all the false propaganda, the wicked lying narratives, the wicked music, the Masonic sports industry, the porn, the drugs, the fake foods, the ICE enforcement, the police brutality. You understand? Reading on. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. You see that? The Most High God is going to save Jacob, save the Israelites. Though I make a full end of all nations. You see that? The Most High God is going to make a full end of all nations. You see these other nations, these corporations, these kingdoms, these countries, these empires, the BRICS, NATO, EU, America. They at top right now. They own all the oil. They own all the precious minerals, all the natural resources, the boats, the tanks, the submarines, the airplanes, the fighter jets, the armies. The Lord said he's going to make a full end of all that power. Whether I have scattered you, you see that? We scatter in all countries throughout the whole world. Yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So you see that? The Most High God is going to judge these nations, man. The Most High God is going to judge these nations for what they did to the chosen. We're not repenting. We're not giving us reparations. We're not doing what's right by us by not, paying us back in a righteous way. These other nations supposed to be bound to us. These nations need to be giving us allowance. They need to be giving us financial aid. They need to be giving us the good jobs. They need to be letting us have our own. Leave us alone. Why we can't live in peace? You see how they bombed the Black Wall Streets. You see how they love kidnapping our women and children. You see how they not letting us live a peaceful life. You got the ICE bothering us. You got our taxes raising. You got our rent raising. They taking away government aid, government assistance. They taking all the good jobs. They not paying enough. these nations will be judged for their immoral acts. These nations will be judged because of the affliction or the idolatry or the violence or the hatred they showed to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. And with that, I want to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh Shemi Awashai. I want to say death to the nations, rise Israel. If I left anything out, like any scriptures, any point, please comment. If you got any questions, concerns, you want to schedule a debate about any topic, hit the email, contact us if you want to gather. But I want to encourage my people to continue to pray, fast, do the works, give alms, and stay in the race. Fight the good fight of faith. You understand? Don't faint. Do the works. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham. Kwame Shalom.